Welcome forward to star 9 of our reflections, and again we'll be using 3 words, if you like, as stars to orientate our way through the scripture reflection today. And again, we're still in the Beatitudes, so again it's just very small. So the 3 words are perseverance, messenger and noble. And again we'll be using those as the stars to just orientate our way through the scriptures, or at least use those to think about the scripture. So again, we're still in the Beatitudes. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. So very short. I suppose obviously the word in the centre there is meek. What does meek mean? Particularly, and then trying to see that word with respect or through the lens of those other words, perseverance, messenger and noble. And one could argue, you could apply perseverance, messenger and noble to Mary and to Saint Joseph. But anybody who is meek, you could argue, is showing perseverance in their meekness or their faith, and they're also messengers and they're very noble. However, the word meek isn't really given, it's not seen in a very, very positive light. It can be used in a very negative way, like that person is too meek, means they're too weak, for example. However, this is in the Beatitudes, this is in the Gospels, this is Jesus saying, blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. And therefore it must be something actually quite positive and something really powerful. And therefore meek people obviously need to persevere in being meek, but actually they are messengers, noble messengers of a message. So that's important as we move on. I think meek people, one could argue, listen a lot. They're quite silent, and but that's a strength. But just moving on, I think meek, you could replace the word meek with patience and kindness, which love is patient, love is kind, and therefore meek people actually are potentially full of love, if that's the motive behind the way they behave or the way they orientate themselves. So what is it not? And again, if we take that concept of meek is patient and kind, so it's another way of being loving, then it's not arrogant, it's not envious, boastful, rude, it doesn't insist on its own way, it's not irritable or resentful, it doesn't rejoice in wrongdoing. And therefore, it's easy to see now the opposite to meekness, these people that are very loud and want their views put over, and they're quite forceful about that, and actually they're not being meek, and they're not really listening. And so when you see it in that light, the meekness actually is a beatitude, and blessed are the meek. And as we said, I think you can apply being meek to sort of Mary and Joseph, which we're obviously reflecting on at the moment. And I suppose the last thing it made me think about is meek people, again, if you apply it to love, they accept things. They seem to accept things rather than get angry and resentful. And therefore, it reminds me of that prayer about sort of us accepting the things we can't change, and courage to change the things we can, and wisdom to know the difference. So again, I'll be reflecting upon this throughout the day, and I'll now leave you to your own thoughts. So with that, God bless.